Are you ready for National Black Girl Month? April is National Black Girl Month, and this year, we're centering Black motherhood. National Black Girl Month is a call to celebrate, invest, and champion Black women and girls. Join the movement and spread the spark. Visit nationalblackgirlmonth.com. Welcome to Impact Innovators with Felicia Ford, where we dive into the strategies that empower changemaker brands to leave a lasting legacy. Think of this podcast as your audio playbook for meaningful action. What's possible when thought leaders, disruptors, and pioneers align to share their journeys? I'm Felicia Ford, your host, bringing together the brightest minds and the most groundbreaking ideas to help you drive change, navigate through the sticky stuff, and elevate your brand. Whether you're tackling funding hurdles, looking for growth strategies, or seeking the perfect balance between profit and purpose, we've got you covered. Stay tuned and be a part of a movement that's setting new benchmarks in how we think about progress, community, and doing. Let's innovate, impact, and inspire.
Hi, I'm Elsie Goodrum from Yours Ministry. Being a mother can be challenging. You will make mistakes, but you cannot be hard on yourself. It does take a village to raise a child, so make sure you get people surrounding you that will help you, that will nurture you and your child, that will help you, that you'll gain knowledge learning from them, that you can ask questions. Each child is different, so you're going to have to be flexible. But most importantly, pray. Pray about everything. Pray about you guiding them, your direction. Pray for peace of mind and knowing that God is going to help you. You can do this.
They tell us we can have it all: the high-powered career, the thriving family, the well-balanced life. But what they don't tell us is the cost. For Black women, success often comes with an impossible expectation: be everything to everyone at all times. We're praised for our strengths, my least favorite word in the world, resilience, and ability to lead, yet rarely given the space to rest, to breathe, and to just be. This isn't just personal, it's systemic. Black women in corporate America and high-stakes leadership roles face gendered racism, burnout, and the unspoken demand to prove their worth over and over again. And when our mental health, well-being, and even physical health start to suffer, the world tells us to simply push through. But Dr. Vanessa Perry is breaking that cycle. A psychologist, executive coach, and global thought leader, Dr. Venessa has spent over 25 years advising C-suite executives, Fortune 500 companies, and government agencies on leadership and organizational health. As the founder and CEO of the Perry Group, she helps leaders build inclusive, high-performing workplaces while centering the well-being of Black and Brown women. Her groundbreaking research on Superwoman Syndrome, gendered racism, and Black women's career mobility in corporate spaces has shaped national and global conversations about what it truly takes to thrive at work and not just survive. And with her forthcoming book, The Path to Inclusivity, she's providing a blueprint for workplaces that prioritize safety, belonging, and well-being. But this conversation isn't just about the workplace. It's about how we as Black women unlearn the idea that our value is tied to how much we can endure. It's about how we reclaim peace, set boundaries, and demand environments that work for us and not against us. In this special National Black Girl Month episode, Dr. Rikesha Fry Brown and I are sitting here with Dr. Vanessa Perry to talk about the cost of being everything to everyone and how Black women can finally put that burden down, because strength isn't about how much we carry, but about knowing when we need to let go. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Perry.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for the introduction. I was almost like, is that me? Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Well, we are so happy to have you here. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Dr. Vanessa, your research focuses on the challenges that Black women face in corporate America. And we know that those challenges can mirror just living in America, but your work specifically looks at corporate America, including the expectation to always perform at the highest level. How did Superwoman Syndrome become so deeply embedded in our professional and our personal lives?
You know, to be completely honest, I would say that 400 years of slavery is where this started. If you look at Black households going back to slavery, Black women always were more or less at the forefront of our households. And unfortunately, our families were often torn apart. And so even when you look at Reconstruction and what happened there was a deliberate effort during that time to split up the Black family, because what you had is systems that were put in place that said you could not have a man in the house. And if you had a man in the house, then that meant there were certain entitlements, certain benefits that you couldn't get. So when we're talking about TANF and SNAP and those types of things, you could not get those things if you had a man in the household. So Black women were forced to pretty much do it alone. And so then they had to work and they had to support their families. And oftentimes we didn't have male role models in the house, partners in the house to help us. And so that cycle has been perpetuated. And unfortunately, it's been perpetuated so much that it has, really to our detriment, is what I would say, because this whole idea of being a superwoman and being resilient and being strong has caused us to go down this road of where we're not as well, we're not healthy, we're not whole, we're not happy, but we are just merely just kind of surviving, not only in the workplace, but also at home, in our communities. And often, as we know, as Black women, it's not just our families that we're taking care of. Oftentimes, we're taking care of our extended family. So our parents, our sisters, our brothers, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, grandparents. So it's very much a cycle. And it's something that I really believe that we have to shun, this whole idea of hypervigilance and superwoman syndrome.
Mm, I need to sit with that for a minute because guilty as charged. But I thank you for jumping and diving right into this. And I do want to talk a little bit about your book, The Path to Inclusivity, but you just bridge that gap between systemic issues that have evolved into our natural, I hate to say natural, but our natural conditioning at this point, and then how that trickles into the workplace. But before I get back to the workplace, what's the cycle breaker? And it may be we don't have that answer right now, but what's the cycle breaker for the home, right? The spaces and the communities where there aren't the men, but there are lots of single mothers or single women who are child free. Is there a cycle breaker here?
Yeah, I believe that the cycle breaker is community. Black women, we've always had to be strong, right? And if we don't have partners to help us, if we don't have part of other people just to help us carry the load, we have to lean into our community. And so what we have is I believe that we're building strong communities, particularly as we look at what's happening right now in our community and also in the world, in the political landscape, that Black women are tired and they're really saying, you know what, I need a group of people who get it, who get me, who are like-minded, who can have my back, who can support me, encourage me, empower me, and ultimately uplift me so
Mhm.
that I can be up in a place where I am thriving, I'm
Yeah.
healthy, happy, and whole. So community, strong communities, intentional communities of Black women, I believe is part of the cycle breaker.
I love that, and that sounds like something that can be easy for anyone to implement. Thank you for that. So, your forthcoming book, The Path to Inclusivity, focuses on creating workplaces that center well-being and belonging for Black women. Why do you think that so many corporate environments still fail us when it comes to mental health and sustainable success?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think again, it's the systems, right? And the power dynamics. And so therefore, when you have systemic racism, systemic oppression, it makes it very difficult for Black women or any marginalized group to really thrive. And uh, it's not, it's not a situation in which if you can kind of change it overnight, because oftentimes what happens is we're the first, we're one of a few, or we're the only in the workplace. And so that makes it even more difficult. So you have to be hyper vigilant. You have to deal with, the microaggressions, the macroaggressions. You have to deal with the slights, the questioning, right? Or you go above and beyond and you take so much on. You're on this committee, you're on that committee, you're overseeing this project, oftentimes with not an increase in compensation. There's no increase in resources, but you just want to be seen and heard. And you feel like the more seen and heard you are, the more accepted you will be. And in some cases, yes, it works, but at what cost?
At what cost?
So that is really what the challenge is. And so when I'm in corporate spaces, when I'm talking to Black women, I'm really trying to help them balance and create systems, processes for themselves so that they don't have to get burnout, so they don't have to feel like they have to do it all, but really that they can prioritize their well-being and they can still be bad, bad sisters on the professional side. So you can have both, but you just have to balance them properly.
Right, right.
What do you think is the starting point, the initial mindset shift that Black women that you've come in contact with when it's like, okay, we see that there's an issue. I know that I am following down this path. What's the first mindset? What's the first step for women to break the cycle of that Superwoman syndrome?
Well, when I work with Black women, one of the things that I have them do because I often tell, well, let me just back up. First of all, they often don't even realize that they have Superwoman syndrome, right? Because it's so ingrained in them. It's genetic, right? It literally is hereditary. They don't realize it. They probably seen it at home. They grew up with it, multi-generations of seeing Superwoman syndrome. So first, it's acknowledgement, right? I feel like there's a generation of women who understand and they see it. And so they're very proactive in terms of breaking the cycle. The women who aren't proactive, who kind of don't see it, my work with them really is around exploration and understanding where they came from and how they got to this place. And so once we are able to understand where you came from and how you got to this place, then we're able to begin to break down those barriers and break down those challenges and really begin to identify ways for them to cope and ways for them to change those those ingrained patterns that they've had for so long. So I would say it's acknowledgement, right? The exercises that I do with Black women oftentimes are about introspection. I'm a big journaler. Um, People don't realize the power of journaling, right? The power of being introspective. And I give them questions to start them on this path of reimagining what their lives can look like. And so that usually is the starting point. And once we're working together for a period of time, it's like a light bulb turns on. They're like, oh, now I get it. Here's this stuff in my past that my parents always stressed in me, that I had to be a high achiever, that I couldn't fail, that I had to get all A's, that I had to go to the best college, that I had to get the best job, that I had to uphold the family standard, that I had to support the family, right? And so I just carried that. And so once they begin to unpack that, then it's kind of like this breakthrough. It's like, oh, aha, I don't have to be this person. And I have an understanding of where I came from. And now I can proactively change who I am and reimagine who I am so that I can deal better, I can cope better with the challenges in corporate America.
Mm, mm. I think that you addressed one of the questions that I was going to ask was, how do we honor the mothers and the women before us that felt like they had to be superwomen, or even presently feeling as if you have to do it all. But then as you were speaking, I was thinking, well, you said that one of the ways to break the cycle is to create community. And I have to say right now, thank you for being a part of our community. I've joked this a couple times in a couple of other episodes saying Rikesha keeps me in check because I am the Energizer Bunny, okay? And I have experienced burnout, but it's like it's part personality, part requirement, responsibility. And I know there are so many other women who are going to feel that way. But we throw around that term community a lot, right? And it's on social media, it's in social media. I personally am an introvert, even though in this space I will talk until the cows come home. Um, but this thought about community and what Superwoman Syndrome has been for some people, what do they do once they let go of that identity and have to assume another one?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It is relearning that you don't have to do it all. It's relearning that there are people who can help you, there are people who can support you, there are communities, your sister friends, that they can have your back. And it can be difficult to put the burden down because that's all you've known, right? For so long. And it really is about coming into community with people that you feel safe with, who you feel comfortable with, and who really allow you to lay your burdens down and just be who you are without the pretense,
Right,
without the degrees, the title, who are just like, oh, hey, you're Felicia, hey,
right,
you're Keisha, hey, you're Vanessa, and are accepting of who you are and don't want anything from you. Just want you to thrive. Just want you to be the best that you can be.
right,
And that is really, what it comes down to, finding a safe place to land,
right,
all the way around, just 100%. If you're not, if you don't feel safe, then you're not going to be yourself. You're not going to open up. And I believe that in these communities that are Black women, that is the biggest thing. It's safety. That's the first thing, first and foremost, of why people are coming together and feel like they can be themselves, being vulnerable.
right, right,
Dr. Vanessa, your research and leadership are giving Black women tools to not just navigate these spaces, but to change these spaces. And you have provided us with so much knowledge and tools and gems in this short time that we've been together. We are so thankful that you are helping us to understand that success should never come at the expense of our well being, and that when we find that it does, we can make a change. Thank you.
Absolutely.
yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Appreciate you having me.
Of course, Dr. Vanessa, how can our audience connect with you and get access to your upcoming book?
Sure, sure. So I'm always on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So you can find me there at Dr. Vanessa Perry. So I'm there. You can also check out our website, the Perry Group, and it's it's grp.com, not group spelled out. So you can check us out there. There's actually a place on the website where you can sign up to get the book and get our newsletter. But again, I'm also on LinkedIn. And you can also just check out the Beyond Collective. So the Beyond Collective is the community that we're building. It's BYOND. This is the next iteration of what I believe is coming together. We're creating this sanctuary, this movement for Black women leaders to come together, to feel safe, to thrive. And so that's the other place you can find me, and you can find a community. But I'm always on LinkedIn. So
Thank
definitely.
you. Thank you so much. As a reminder, Superwoman Syndrome is a cycle that keeps Black women overworked, overextended, and undersupported. We know that. But this conversation was a reminder that we are more than what we produce and what we can do. We are worthy of ease. We are worthy of care. We are worthy of spaces that nourish us. And you do not have to do it alone. We invite you to join us. Visit nationalblackgirlmonth.com to access the National Black Girl Month Toolkit for women. And if you're raising a Black girl, there's also one for her too. In the toolkits, you can access our calendar. Digital toolkits are free. And if you'd like to purchase a hard copy, you can definitely do that as well. Connect with us on social media at National Black Girl Month. And for the entire month of April, there are going to be live conversations happening right in our virtual community. And again, you can visit nationalblackgirlmonth.com to learn more. Thank you all. The best leaders know that strategy happens in real time, in the right room, with the right people. That's why I created Momentum Lab, where creatives and changemakers meet weekly to break down challenges, refine their strategies, and move forward with momentum. If you're ready to sharpen your next move, join us at lab.FeliciaFordandCo.com. Hey, Changemaker, real quick before you go, if today's episode helped you in some way, the best way to thank me is to head over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the channel, and leave a review. I'd also love to connect with you over on social. You can find me at Friends Call Me B. Until next time, keep changing the game.